This is John Paul. I'm coming to you from Tokyo, Japan. Saw an article today, caught my attention. It's called YouTube star Jake Paul didn't loot this weekend. He did something much worse. So, Jake Paul is a YouTuber who's got a brother, Logan Paul, and they've both got about 20 million subscribers. Just to put it in perspective, if you've never heard of them. So, they've got pretty big platforms. And the controversy was he was spotted in one of the riots. Let's take a look. During the violent protests that raged across America on Saturday night, the Fashion Square Mall in Scottsdale, Arizona was one of the countless shopping areas that fell victim to vandalism and looting. What made the scene in Arizona different, however, was that the footage caught on screen wasn't just captured by news crews but also by infamous YouTuber Jake Paul. Footage of Paul among the scenes of protesters looting was shared in a series of Instagram posts by Paul's videographer Andrew Blue. Although the posts have since been deleted, they showed Paul walking through the mall as protesters began to act destructively. Paul's own social media posts included videos of police officers who Paul repeatedly refers to in explicit and confrontational language. The videos do not make it appear Paul joined in with the others who were damaging the property, yet the negative social media reaction was swift. In response to his critics, Paul denied that he participated in the looting and tried to explain his actions in a post on his social media channels. Now, the reason I wanted to cover this is because I kind of get the same feeling that the writer here of the article gets. Even if he wasn't looting, I don't think it's the best thing to be doing when you've got such a platform like that. So, here's his official response. To be absolutely clear, neither I nor anyone in our group was engaged in any looting or vandalism. For context, we spent the day doing our part to peacefully protest one of the most horrific injustices our country has ever seen, which led to us being tear-gassed for filming the events and brutality that were unfolding in Arizona. We were gassed and forced to keep moving on foot. We filmed everything we saw in an effort to share our experience and bring more attention to the anger felt in every neighborhood we traveled through. He goes on for quite a bit here. We were strictly documenting, not engaging. I do not condone violence, looting, or breaking the law. However, I understand the anger and frustration that led to the destruction we witnessed, and while it's not the... Okay, so I don't have the full thing here, but you guys might know my take on somebody writing something really long like that. Now, I don't think he was involved in like serious destruction, but when you feel the need to explain yourself to that length, it looks just a little bit maybe like you're trying to cover up something, or maybe you're getting a little irritated people are asking you about it. But like I said, I don't think he did anything really serious here. And when I say serious, I mean as far as actual destruction. Okay, let's keep going. By shamelessly and selfishly injecting himself not only into a violent protest but also into the national narrative, Paul did worse than stealing televisions and other property. He stole attention away from the real story of these protests, America's historic and systemic racial injustice. By exploiting his attention as a social media star, he stole attention away from the actual protesters and their personal narratives of anger and hurt. And by calling out expletives to police officers and claiming his own victimhood, he recklessly disregarded the fact that his own privilege as a white man protects him from police violence every single day. I think if you are a white man and you're doing something really wrong, then you will get arrested and you will be punished for it. So that's my take on it. But I'm not going to get into detail on that. America is facing some of its most difficult days, and it is a time for difficult conversations. That includes conversations with people like Jake Paul who exploit their celebrity appeal for self-gratification. If influencers like Paul really want to contribute to the important work of exposing and combating injustice rather than making themselves the center of the story, they could spend time highlighting the stories that truly need to be heard. Okay, so I'm about halfway in agreement with Forbes on this article. I'm not in agreement that the looting and vandalism is actually proving a great point. What I think is peaceful protest is proving a point. Absolutely, that should be done 100%. It's the stealing of TVs. I saw a homeless man's mattress get stolen. We know innocents have been killed in this. So all I'm saying is peaceful protest is one thing, but when it gets out of hand, it really actually hurts the cause. So Jake Paul being there with his large platform could possibly influence people to go out and do things, and they might not end up doing the right thing. They might see Paul there, making this documentary, being around people who are looting, and they might get the wrong idea. So it would be best if he just stayed out of it, stayed home, and, like the article hinted to, not gotten involved. Not used his celebrity power to be there, to stir up views, something to that extent. So, obviously, this video is pretty heavily connected to the George Floyd situation, and I didn't make a full video on this, and I'll say a piece right now. A basic piece is that I agree the officers who were involved in his tragic death should be punished, hands down. Whatever that punishment is, I'll probably agree with it. But as I just went over, I'm against the looting. It's not working out right, and it seems like it's out of control. Also, please keep in mind, the George Floyd situation is still going on as I'm making this video. So if I did at one point pitch in my opinion, I'd want to see the whole thing from finish to end. Meaning from the event of the tragic death to the punishment to the final conclusion, you could say. And if not, I'm kind of pitching in as it's going on, as it's in progress, which isn't easy to do. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think below. Doing shoutouts, special thanks, things like that. Consider subscribing. Usually not quite this serious, but I guess there's a lot of stuff going on these days, and the level for everyone might be slightly more serious. Yeah, that's it. See you next time.